Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss about how you can save big money on GoDaddy hosting platforms. I'm also going to teach you in technical detail about how you can migrate the WordPress from one domain to another domain, also from one hosting to another hosting. Also, if you have two different account, right? Or if you want to move your website completely out of GoDaddy also, you can use a similar kind of a strategy, which we're going to discuss throughout the video. Now, one of the reason we are talking about saving a money is, as you know that when you purchase a first time product on a GoDaddy, you get a huge discount, and I personally believe that's a value for money. However, if you go for a long term, like after 2 3 years, the value keep on increasing for the renewal, right? And you will see a huge difference between the new product price and the renewal. And one of the reason you have to renew is because your hosted, your website are already running on the WordPress. And we certainly need to know a technique where you can, come out of it and we can save money. One of the reason I had to do that is money was definitely one of the factor, but then GoDaddy has migrated or upgraded their platform. So recently they have upgraded their platform from 4G to something else, and I had huge challenges in terms of using the old platform. And at some stage, in case if they decommission the old platform, everyone using it will have to suffer. If you call customer care, you will be informed that you will be have to paying a fees of somewhere around like $50+ in order to get your things done. You get your website or get your hosting moved from one location to another. But then I have created this video to help you out, and I'm sure you want to help others, so you can pass it on this video. You can share, like, and comment, and you can just move ahead this video to someone else who really need help on this. So let's get back to the work. So first of all, you need to consider a few things. You need to download an application called FileZilla. All right. Now I'm going to show you live demonstration of how exactly I have done it. So if you can see here, I have configured two FTP accounts here. Now, for someone who's really new to this particular migration thing, let me explain you a few details here. So when you have a website on a WordPress, right, you might be thinking that why can't I just simply copy the files and move ahead with it, right? So let me give you another layman term example. So let's say you have a laptop and you want to switch to another laptop for whatever reason, your old laptop is old or it's gonna crash, or you want to sell it out or something like that, right? So what you usually do is you take a copy of your data on your USB drive or your external hard drive and whatever cases, right? So you copy the data, but remember, like when you copy data and you move it to next desktop, and if you don't have the application installed, for example, you have Word files, you have 10 Word files which you copy, and you move it to some other where you have a different version of application. Let's say it's an older version of Word. You might see a challenges, while opening a document. You might see formatting issues with the document. So in order to do a proper migration, you need to make sure your data as well as an application get moved properly, right? So that's the reason when you move it from one laptop, you need to make sure that the Word application also get migrated. Similar to that, when you have like a different hosting, or when you have two different set of account, or let's say you want to completely move out of GoDaddy and you want to go to some other company, so that means you will have a completely new space. So just copying the WordPress file is not going to help you. You need to follow proper order. I'm going to discuss about all this order, but just to give you gist of it, you need to migrate first your data. All right. Also, WordPress comes with a database, right? It comes with the DBA. So in order to make your things active, database is a place where your credentials and where a lot of configuration details are stored. So just moving the data as it is will not help you out. You also need to make sure you move the content, you move the database from your old location to new location. And the third is you have to divert your IP addresses to the new hosting plan. Now let's take one thing at a time. We'll talk about the data migration first. So in order to migrate the data from old place to new place, you need to make note of few things. So for first of all, I need to connect to the old host that I was supposed to get in. So right now I'm just moving it. I'm just getting connected to the old host. And throughout the example, I'm going to talk about one website. I have multiple websites, but I'm going to talk about one of the website here. I'm going to take one example. It is called lotusminerals.com, which is hosted on the 4G platform. So what I have to do is, I have to, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder on my laptop. You cannot directly migrate it, right? You need to have some local folder here. I have already created, but just for gist of it, so you can see that for your reference. So I have created two folders here, as you can see here. Just give me one. Yeah, it's old host backup. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna create. You really don't have to create. Basically, just make sure you select this particular file, right, and just simply drag it towards your left hand side. So basically, that will copy the entire file. But right now, I'm not gonna do that because I've already copied it. So if you can see here, all the website backup I've already taken it. Now, one of the reason there are many FTP hosts available on the in the market, but here I'm using the FileZilla because it's quite popular and it's quite secured. At the same time, it is quite fast and reliable. Yeah, and it also gives you a reliable option. Like you can see the option here where you can see the failed logs, right? So in case anything gets failed, you don't need to do a cross check, or you have to do a manual testing. All you do is basically you do a left right comparison, and you will see the files here. We will see that once we do actual migration. So the first step, as I mentioned, you have to take a complete backup of all the folders. So I'm talking specifically about one folder, but if you can see here, I had like multiple websites, so I have taken a backup of every website on my local machine first. So that's just step number one. Okay. Now let me give you an overview of how does a new platform look like. All right. So how does basically your GoDaddy platform will look like, the new one. So GoDaddy has come up with something little pathetic, but then that's how it is. They have come up with something called as an Plask, right? So all you need to do is you need to go to your new login, and then you just need to click on that panel, which will open up. It will take some time. So this is an example when they say we are upgrading. With the speed it's taking time to load up, you can clear it, make it out. It's actually the performance degraded. All right. So let's talk about that later. Right now, so first, what you need to do at the other point of time, you need to make a note of your other credential, right? So what as you can see here, I just wanted to make the things little streamlined. So I've created a folder here called as in a websites, right? So at the second file transfer FTP, right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on file, and I'm gonna click on the GoDaddy, and I'm gonna connect to the new host, right? So what you have done earlier is you have copied the file from old domain to new domain, sorry, old domain to your local machine. Now what you need to do is you need to place that file on your new hosting, right? So the process is quite similar, right? But let me warn you, the FTP is not that speed as you expect, right? It's not as straightforward as downloading the file from the internet. It is as good as you are remotely connecting to some server and downloading it. So it will take some time. So that's the reason I have already downloaded, so save your time. So on the another FTP host, what you need to do is on the left hand side you will see the folder name. As you can see, it's already in progress, so you have to select that particular folder. And then on the right hand side, right, so whenever you're connected, you just have to drag this particular folder from left hand side to the right hand side, so it will copy that back to the new hosting platform. Okay, so right now this process is going on. Now it will take approximately, let's say it based on your data and the number of images, and a lot of factors depends on that. But I'm approximately 20 minutes it takes to upload, and 20 minutes to download. So let me pause this video, and then I'll get back to you once that thing is done. All right. Okay, so as you can see here, at the bottom of the screen, right, you can see here how many successful transaction been here, how many failed transaction been here. The luckily I don't see anything new right now. But if there is any failed transaction, the best part about is you select that particular file. For example, this one, it has failed. You can just right click on it, and you say add back to the queue. Right now it's in successful state, so right now you won't see it. Otherwise you will see that option. So that's where you can make sure all the files been successfully migrated, right? So that's about data migration. Now we'll quickly move ahead with the next step. As I mentioned, the next step for after we do that is doing a migration of a database. Okay. Now for that you need to again go back to the panel, which is your old hosting panel, right? Once that is done, all you need to do is click on the databases and go to MySQL database. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have multiple websites. I will not take much time here. But what I'm going to do is I'll take one example. So, for example, this one. All you just need to do is, click on a backup of it. Right. Now, you need to make care of, you need to take note of few things here. All you need to make sure is your database name which is associated to that particular site is you need to take a note of. This is for your reference, okay? Whenever we'll migrate it to new database, not necessarily we'll use the same name, but however you need to make sure of it, okay? Now, at the same time, you can see here the file location where the database is gonna, the backup is gonna be on this particular folder, right? So all I'm gonna do is click OK and it will process, right? Now again, GoDaddy will take some time, so you will see your database is getting backed up, so it will take some time. So once again, I will pause the video. And just for your reference, I have already taken a backup of one of the databases, so we'll quickly move ahead and I will show you. So it will, it will save us time. Okay, so as you can see here, this is my old hosting. Okay, I'm gonna go to that particular folder which we took a note of. So I think it was db backup. db should be up. Anyways, yeah, this is the folder. Yeah, and as you can see here, at the same time, what I've done is on my local machine. Once again, you have to use intermediate as in local machine. I have created a folder called as in database backup. Okay. Now this is the backup file. Now, as I told you, right, multiple backup files will be there because every time you create it, it will give you some unique name to that. So you need to make a note of the file name which you have taken, and you have to drag that towards your left hand side, which is you're copying that into your local machine. Okay. I'm not doing that because I've already done the previous backup. So this is the version which I'm going to use now. Okay, so far so good. What we have done is we have taken a backup of our data. We have taken a backup of a database. All right. So two most critical things that you need to be taking care of. Now, once you have uploaded data using FileZilla, all right, now the process remains the same. So if you don't know how to do that, how to connect FileZilla, the step is you need to set up a FTP users on both the end, and both the users, FTP users will have different credentials, and you need to set that up in FileZilla. If you want it, I will have another brief video about it. Okay, so right now let's get back to database, which we have talked about. Here, I'm gonna delete this so I can create one for you just to show. Right. So here what we have done is you have to set up a new database here, right? So because now whenever you click on here, it will create a new empty database, which is fair enough. So what we're gonna do is we'll create the empty database and then we'll overwrite with the data that we have. Okay. I hope you got my point here. So I'm creating a database called WordPress underscore ABC as the way I've created. Now you need to make sure you are using MySQL because you were using MySQL there, and WordPress does support only MySQL. And then I'm gonna put my credential here. Now you need to also remember this because it's quite important, and it's advisable to have a kind of a secured password because a lot of website dependencies there. Okay, admin 123, because now this is a new trouble created by GoDaddy that it doesn't allow you to have the same admin name, but that's fair enough. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do is I'm creating a new name and I'm gonna click on OK. Now, before you move ahead, you need to make a note of database server name with the port number. Now, this is really, really, really important. Why? We're gonna discuss that later. Okay. So what I've done is I've taken a note of a database name. I have taken a note of the admin and I've taken note of a password. I'm sure you will not able to see it. Okay, so the admin name is 123 and password is obviously the one which I've set up, XYZ, right? So these are the few things that you have to this, it needs to be handy. Once that is done, you need to click on OK and not match with ether. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, go, go, go. Right, I think it's accepting. Okay, great. So you can see here the database is created, and you will see that web admin is also created. Okay, now you need to make sure that you have to do one more step before we move ahead. You need to create something called as a user. Now this user is something, oh great, it's created here. Okay, if you don't see it here, you need to create one. So if you remember, we created a user called admin123, and database access is WordPress underscore abc, and these are the now this all information we have taken note of it. All right. Okay, great. So now we are back here. This is the empty database which we were talking about. You need to click on the web admin button here. Now this is little complicated. I know the life was much easier in the old hosting plan, but then the companies, they don't believe in giving better customer life, customer services. So they keep on changing the things, so we pay them more. But anyways, yeah. So we are going on with that page. It will take hell lot of time because, as I said, the new platform is supposed to be faster, but it's other way around. Okay, cool. So this will make your life little easier. Now you need to make a note of it that it's running on port 8443. All right. Now we are coming very close to our site migration. Now, if you remember, I have created a database name called WordPress underscore ABC. Now, if you can see here, I want you to give a time, and I want to make sure that you don't miss this, because I did miss this small point, and I wasted couple of hours to understand why, what is not going right. Now, by default, when you open it, again, it's a kind of a bug, but then it's a stupidity that we should expect from GoDaddy. So the thing is, it's showing you the server name, but however, and it also give you an option to import. So the moment you click on import, it will import that into the empty, it will import that to the root directory. We don't want to do that, right? We want to overwrite into the existing database. So you need to click on it, right, and make sure this thing comes up. I did click once, but then sometime it did not came up, and I was wondering what's happening, and I was getting multiple error. Anyways, now you need to make a note of it that you see this on the top, right? And once you have it, all you need to do is you need to click on import, right? You need to choose a file. Here you don't need to upload the file using it, but then you have taken a backup, so all you need to do is choose that particular file, click on open, and you need to scroll it down. You just keep all these factors same if you have not touched it much, and in case if you have used any foreign key or something, you just need to click on enable and click on go for it. Now it will take some time here. I'm expecting 5 minutes. It depends on the database size. As I've taken a very small site, a sample site, it should not take a time, but let's wait for 1 minute. As you can see here, it's supposed to be faster. Okay, anyways, so right now as you can see here, import has been successful. The way you can verify is you can see all the tables, right? So the better part of your life is your database is migrated, and the content from the old hosted domain is also here. Okay, everything is here, so good. We are very close now towards making sure things are fine. Once this is done, now remember, we migrated database, but however, all the data which we have migrated needs to link to this particular database, right? It is not that it will come automatically, right? Again, I do expect it to update it, but it should not, it does not come up like that. So for that, what you need to do is you need to again go to this Plex admin, count 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 million, 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million. This slow how it is. Okay, anyways, all right. So we go back to the files, right? Now files is the same section where we uploaded all these folders, all the files. You need to go to that particular folder of that particular site. So in our case, it's Lotus Minerals, all right? Okay, and then you need to specifically look for this file which is called as web config. So wp config. Now if you see here, if you are new here, right, even a space make your life hell, right? So if you're not sure, I would highly recommend to take a backup before you make any changes. But if you're pretty much sure, you can just simply click on this. All right, so it will open this particular file, and the best part about it is you can directly edit it. So again, you don't have to take a pain of upload and reload. Now I'm gonna keep few things confidential here, so I will just try to avoid unnecessary. Alright, so there are three parameters which we have taken a note of: DB name, DB user, and at the bottom, keep few things confidential here, so I will just try to avoid unnecessary. Alright, so there are three parameters which we have taken a note of: DB name, DB user, and at the bottom, you will have a DB password. I don't want to disclose it here, but let me see. Okay. Alright, so if you see a DB name, that's the exact name which we have copied in our notepad while making a database. So in my example, which I was when I was doing it for demonstration, I created ABC, but the actual name which I use is Wordpress underscore Lotus Minerals, right? Once that is done, you need to give admin one admin name here in the second box, right? So in this case, I have used 123 while demonstrating, but actually it was admin. And at the bottom, you will see similar kind of thing where you type your password. So I'm sure I really don't want to get there, but see it will be similar tab, and you will see db underscore password where you just need to save your password. Once that is done, all you need to do is click on save. Now, guys, what you have done so far is, let me quickly recap. You have migrated data, you have migrated your database, and the third thing is you have now enabled your data to access your new database because you have changed the configuration here. Okay, so I think from our perspective, we are almost ready here. All we need to do now is we need to go to the old domain, old panel. Yeah, you need to click on the hosted domain. Now, if you can remember, once again, we have migrated everything, but then how does GoDaddy will know where to go? And eventually, if you configure something in a new domain, it does not mean, like if you remember, I'm sure if you use GoDaddy too much, in the hosted domain, it does not give you an address or IP address. It gives you folder to select, which website should point to which particular folder, right? So if there you don't have an option where you can put an IP or something, or if you call customer care, they will waste your time saying that update DNS and all that thing. But trust me, all these things are really not required. Simple fact you can do is you can go to your page here on the GoDaddy, and in the hosted domain, wherever you see that particular domain, for example this one, you simply need to remove. You need to click on the entry X here, so it will remove that entry from old domain. So as you can see here, I don't have that domain because I've already removed it. Now if I add it again, just to show you, it will take 20 minutes to add and 20 minutes to remove. So just to give you an idea, it's straightforward. There is nothing much complicated here. So once you remove that, I highly recommend that you wait for 20 minutes. Okay, even though the browser or the website or the panel which shows that the site is removed, the global DNS on the GoDaddy takes time. So the ideal time is 20 minutes, but sometime if you are lucky enough, it goes up to hours sometime. But then if you really stuck somewhere, the only option is again to call customer care. However, once that is done, all you need to do is you need to set up the things on your new plan, right? So once again, you need to go to my accounts. Okay, sorry, I think I'm in the wrong place. Hosting, Plex admin. God, one more second. Okay, we need to go to Plex admin. Okay, now when this is open, all right, all you need to do is, once again, all right, you need to click on add new domain here, this button, and you need to enter your new domain, and you need to give a folder exact name in the document root for location. Okay, now that is done, and once that is done, you just need to click on OK. Now I already added, so I can show you there. I need to click on cancel. Okay, so if I just scroll down here, yeah, you see here. Now this is the way you will see it. You will see the file location here, and you will see the database. Now, if you can see here, you can see the two options. So we are using effective databases, Lotus Minerals. This is the way you will see the information, and you will also see FTP accounts that you have set up here, right? So all this information you will see it in this. That means you are set. Okay, you're almost done, and then all you need to do is you need to go to the browser, right? And Lotus Minerals. Okay, I've created this dummy account, dummy domain, just for testing. So, and as you can see here, the site is loaded. Now, in order to effectively test it, okay, that's not the only page you need to check, right? Because if you have a dead content, sometime let's say your default page pops out. If you wanted to be damn sure about it, you need to access WP admin. Yeah, as you can see here, I am able to access the panel. I was already logged in, so my life is simple, right? It's quite easier. And one last way, if you still want to, if you're still not sure if the things are fine, the last option, and as if you're a developer, I'm sure you want to do this, just to make sure, you need to do is ping and then .com. This way you will get an IP address of where it's going to, and you can compare this with your hosting. So if you can see here, it is 101, 182.50, 135, 101, right? So that means we are all set. Okay, our website is working. We have saved money and we have saved time, and trust me, it's one of the best experiences. Now, since I was explaining in details, and for me also first time, to go through this um, very complicated panel, it took a while, but then I wanted to make your life easier so you don't have to go through the pain which I've gone through. That's the only intention I've created a video. So I'm sure you can like and subscribe this particular channel in order to support this further, and you can pass it on to the people who may need this, you think, in terms of technology, because uh, relying on a company for getting a customer care, we paying $50+ to just get this small information was not at all good idea, right? So that's the reason my intention is to help you guys, and I'm sure you want to help others. So I request you to